Voiceover Andrew here once again. As you can see, I am preparing a breakfast, some oats, 100 grams, some creatine mono, 10 grams, a banana, getting rid of it in the correct recycling bin, as you can see, whey protein, but of course, going for 100 grams here. There's the weighing scale underneath my blender, which is out of frame. Putting my body hair to good use, as you can see there. My Vitamix tearing shit up. I forgot the ice, so adding that here. And of course, some coffee. This is probably my second cup of the day. Apologies for the mess in my kitchen, by the way. Gotta get myself ready, chuck on some clothes, and here we go.
Hey, hope you're doing well. I am going to try and take you with me once again to the gym. Today is Sunday and I'm supposed to be training legs, but I started sprinting once again last Thursday, I think it was, and I still cannot walk properly, so I'm gonna skip legs for today. I think I've skipped them already last week because I was abroad. Anyway, and I'm gonna do a push session and hopefully be able to film it. By the way, here in Malta, it's absolutely boiling. I have the AC on and I have my windows down, or had my windows down, because I just can't seem to cool the car down. Anyway, I did have a bit of a breakfast, as you may have already seen, which is not usual for me. It's something I'm trying out at the moment. And this is probably the second time I've done it, and it feels pretty good, I guess. Could also be placebo though, or plamilbo. Anyway, see you at the gym.
Voice over Andrew here, back once again. Going to give you a bit of a commentary of what's going on. As you can see, I'm getting into the changing room with my straight face and my top that is on the wrong way, inside out. I am back at the same gym as my previous video, which is at the National Pool Complex in Malta. And yeah, today we're getting ready for a push session, getting in some more caffeine via this pre-workout drink here, which I got from the gym itself. Starting my workout timer. So let's see how long this session is going to take. Of course, filming and moving around the camera and all that is going to add time to my typical session, but I'll let you know how long it went at the end. Warming up those shoulder joints. I simply just like to move around. The weather's quite hot, as I previously mentioned here in Malta, so I'm pretty warm already. My slip disc is super annoying, or herniated disc, as some of you might know it as. I'm not sure what state it's in. I never did an MRI. I just got unofficially diagnosed by a acupuncturist, Chinese medicine guy. He told me I have a herniated disc most likely, but I never really, saw it under an MRI to be 100% sure. However, I have taken a lot of precautions over the last year or so, and it's been way better. Anyway, chucking on some plates here and getting going. So first of all, I have been utilizing dumbbells a lot for my pressing movements. So this is a push session, right? So what we're going to target muscle-wise is the chest, the shoulders, and the triceps. In my case, at least. In my case of a push session, that is. And yeah, typically I was using dumbbells, but being this gym has pretty decent pressing machines, I like to utilize them every now and then. So as you can see, my movement part, by the way, as I'm sure some of you might be wondering, is I am not fully extending the press. I only extend up until where I feel my chest is controlling the movement or carrying the movement. If I were to fully push out my arms and basically just fully extend my elbows, I feel it's shifting much more of the weight to the triceps. And that would make me end up having or utilizing less weight, because the weight would have to be enough for the triceps to incorporate. Obviously, I am trying to target the chest here, and only the chest, right? So that variation of the pressing machine, the first one, was more of a flat press. This one is more of an incline. And as you can see, even the other pressing machine, I think I did the same thing. I am trying to find the perfect height. This, of course, involves moving the seat up and down. And I am ensuring that, again, based on my anatomy, based on the way I press, that the chest, that was me feeling the music, by the way, apologies about that. Obviously the music I'm listening to is not the music playing in the gym. Maybe not obviously, but yeah. I'm listening to probably techno. Yeah, I'm pretty much of a tech head. But anyway, so this is an incline press, okay? I feel stronger on this machine. However, it depends where the seat is placed. And when I'm comparing this machine to the previous machine, strength-wise, okay? So basically, the height of the seat can affect my strength. However, strength is not what I'm training. I'm training literally or 100% hypertrophy, which is muscle growth. And one tip I would love to give you is try and press with the chest. I know it sounds obvious, but like, try and keep your arms completely out of the movement, or as much as you can out of the movement. You can even sometimes open your palms as well to sort of relieve the tension from the forearms. So I literally try to picture my chest is pulling up the weight, as you can maybe see here. Well, you can't see, but this is what I'm thinking. Yeah, moving on to pec deck. Now here it is crucial that the height, once again, the height of the seat affects where my shoulders are in this movement. And the lower my hands are in comparison to my shoulders, the more of the lower striations in the chest are going to be hit. The higher my hands are in relation to my shoulders, the more the middle or upper chest is going to be hit. But then if you go too high, you're potentially going to start hitting your front delts, which I don't mind, but currently I'm trying to target my upper, medium, or even lower chest, really. I kind of just go with the feel on that day. And that would determine, basically all I have control over is the seat height. Anyway, again, like to push with the chest, you know, literally like putting my focus all on the chest, keeping the squeeze. I never rest at the top of the movement. I like to really stretch back, as you can see. There is another adjustment I forgot to mention on this machine, which is, as you can see, the pin at the top, that is all the way back. for chest. If I go any further back, it will be more of a rear delt exercise, which you would have to be sitting in the opposite direction. So yeah, you can kind of even see my mid chest here is being targeted mainly. By the way, reps for this specific machine, I like to go to around 16, 14 to 18, let's say. Nice and slow. I don't like to bring momentum into the movement, but the priority is the stretch. Here, this angle is actually even better. You can see how far back I go on the stretch. I like to push my chest forward, maybe arch my back a bit. And once again, I'm ensure that the seat height is correct. In this case, it's pretty high, the seat. You can see it's really uncomfortable. My legs are moving around because I don't have that sort of grip onto the floor, being the seat is so high. But anyway, decent machine. And yeah, when it comes to reps as well, I forgot to mention that the pressing ones, I like to aim for around 12. However, that peg deck, I prefer to keep it a bit higher at maybe 14. Now here, I am trying out for the first time this Smith machine. And as you can see, I'm like, what the fuck? It keeps going, like, it has no resistance. It has resistance, but it kind of has its own momentum. So now I'm kind of getting used to it more and more. I was obviously testing it for the very first time over there. And when it comes to Smith machines, I always avoided them, to be honest. But lately, I am falling in love with them. And the main issue which always concerned me, and it's still kind of bothersome, is the seat. You never know if you're placing it correctly in the right spot. It could be slightly off to the left, slightly off to the right. It could be slightly too far behind or too far forward. It could also be slightly angled incorrectly, which if you have OCD is going to drive you nuts. But I said, fuck it, I have to get over it. I focus on the right distance and the right angle. If I'm a bit more to the left or to the right, as soon as I lift the bar, I ensure that I feel the same pressure in both of my hands. So that way I kind of know I'm in the middle of it. I might not actually be in the middle of the machine, but at least I'm in the middle of the weight load, if you will. Again, here I'm at a very, very steep angle, by the way. I'm trying to hit the very upper chest / front delt. And yeah, I absolutely love the resistance it gives you and the way you can really keep the tension on the muscle. As you can see, I'm not ever going to the top. I'm not extending my elbows, and that means I am not relaxing at the top. I'm not having a break. I'm constantly keeping tension on the muscle and really trying to get a stretch at the bottom by pushing my chest or my shoulders backwards and my chest upwards in order to really get that stretch, which I really believe contributes to hypertrophy in an efficient manner. So here we are, starting off with shoulder focused movements, and I really like this pressing machine. Once again, I place the seat enough to where I can go down in the movement without it hitting the actual resting position of the machine. And when it comes to shoulder presses, I don't like to go too low. Not sure why I do that, probably to avoid injuries, but I saw someone once explain that the lower you go, you don't really target the shoulder as much. Again, I also don't really like to extend the elbow, as you can see. So I'm just keeping the tension on the shoulder as much as possible. As well, I like to picture my shoulder lifting the weight. My hand is just a tool in the movement, basically. Yeah, this machine is a really, really nice one. It really lets me load up with a bit of weight, you know. To me, it's not about the weight. I actually try to avoid going very heavy. I believe you can still, or even better, recruit muscle fibers by slowing down movement. Here you can see I'm really slowing the concentric, if that's the right way of saying it. And over we go to this lateral raise machine. I always try to make use of this machine whenever it's available. Alternatively, if it's not, I would be opting for a dumbbell variation of this movement. Of course, here we're targeting the outer portion of the deltoid, or the lateral portion. The deltoid is made up of 3 muscles, and we're targeting mostly the middle one. The reason why I prefer this machine to dumbbells is mainly because the load is consistent throughout the whole arc of the movement. Here, I like to stay on the higher end of the reps. I probably hit around 20, and I like to constantly keep the tension on the shoulder. I don't go fully to the bottom, so the tension is consistent. I literally picture this machine, like many other movements, as like I'm pumping the targeted muscle. So as soon as if I was to let the machine completely land in its resting position, the tension is taken off the muscle. By the way, you could see my Apple Watch there is asking me if my workout is done, which is rather embarrassing. But the reason is because I was talking to someone for so long that it's like, listen, are you still working out or what? Anyway, over to triceps, which is the final muscle group of my push session. And as you can see here, it's all about where the angle of the cable is. So that adjustable part, I like to have it somewhere in my upper to mid back. I lean according to feel. I like to rest my glutes, let's say, on the machine itself. So I like to look for machines where the cable is not running in front, it's running behind. And so I can rest and take away the tension on my lower back, which is where I have a problem. Again, I like this movement, well, not again, but I like this movement because you are stretching the tricep. I believe the tricep is stretched from 2 places. One is from the elbow joint, and 2 is from the shoulder joint, which you can see here. So I bend my back downwards according to how I feel the tension, right? Here I try to go for more of an extension, but not a full lockout, because I believe lockouts can really sort of, especially with weight in the mix, can really increase the wear and tear on the joints. So I don't go to full lockout, but nearly. Here's maybe another angle where you can see me resting against the machine. As you can see, the cable to the side of me, the cable runs along the machine, but once you lift up the actual wheels there, the cable is taken out of the picture. As you can see in the one that I'm lifting from, there's no cable behind me, and it allows me to rest against the machine. Anyway, here, by the way, I changed the grip. So basically for triceps, I stay most of the time in this movement plane. However, I would change up the grip. So this would probably be targeting more of the inner or outer triceps, whatever, I'm not even sure. But it's more of a hammer kind of grip, as opposed to the other, which is more of a straight grip. Anyway, keeping the tension, as you can see, constantly, pumping the muscle as much as I can, and yeah, giving it the last push, because I know this session is about to come to an end. So yeah, reps, again, typically look, the smaller the muscle group, and triceps of course are considered pretty small muscle group. I mean, you have 3 of them, but usually you're targeting one more than the other 2. And even if you combine all 3, they're probably still small, especially in my case. Just a bit of a pump check there. A bit of a pose down, oh my God, here in the changing room, checking out the pump we got going on. But anyway, what I was saying is, the smaller the muscle group, the higher the reps. Here, literally, I have never posed in my life, and I am 42 years old. I'm 42 in August. And yeah, I'm trying to learn how to pose. Here I'm going for a bit of a different lighting with no mirror, by the way. So this is why I'm trying to learn how the pose feels as opposed to looking at myself in a mirror. Because maybe one day I will actually compete. This is my lat spread. Oh my God, here I'm going to go into some side tricep, which I still haven't fully got the hang of. Here I'm going into side chest. The lighting is terrible, to my defense. But yeah.
And that is a wrap. I hope you enjoyed watching me train through my my push session. It took 2 hours exactly. It never takes this long usually, but setting up the camera and stuff, well, that didn't take too long because I have this Osmo Nano, which is tiny and it's great for this stuff. I actually got my main camera, but I forgot the SD disc at home, so it was perfect to try out this camera, because I guess I probably would have never actually tried it out. Yeah, the reason why it took so long is because I met a friend of mine and we were talking, but I enjoy it anyway. It's a Sunday, relaxed day, you know. I've had breakfast, so I'm not that hungry. And yeah, don't forget, as always, like and subscribe. It means a lot, a real lot. So yeah, let me know if you would like to see more of this type of content. And until the next video, over and out.